In the headlines, 7-year-old injured as explosive rocks Yobe. Serap urges President Buhari to arrest sponsors of attacks on INEC officers or face legal action. Katsina irrigation farmers lament high cost of inputs as food production costs soar. Charles III leads First Remembrance Sunday as king. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I'm Zainab Bala. Hello and welcome. A 7-year-old Al-Majri school pupil has been injured after a suspected explosive device detonated at Nainawa Forest area of Damaturu, the Yobe State capital. The incident is said to have occurred on Sunday morning when a heavy sound was heard in the area, causing the residents to scamper for safety. However, there was no reported loss of life. Although the cause of the incident is still unclear, the police public relations officer in Yobe State, Dungus Abdul Karim, said that the anti-bomb squad has been dispatched to the scene of the incident. Some eyewitnesses further claimed a chisel and knife were found on a mat where the incident happened. Meanwhile, the victim has since been rushed to a specialist hospital in Damaturu for medication. Yobe is one of the states in the northeast affected by the over a decade-long Boko Haram insurgency. Other states are neighboring Borno and Adamawa states. It has not been ascertained if Sunday's explosion is linked to the Boko Haram insurgents. The incident is coming about 7 months after a similar explosion occurred at a relaxation center in the Abasha Ward, Gashua local government area of Yobe State. Now, during the April 24th attack, one person was confirmed dead, with 7 others injured in a pub some residents were drinking. Worried by the rising cases of abductions, ransom payment and needless killings, stakeholders in Ishei and agrarian community of Oyo State have drawn a strategic action plan to restore peace and sanity to the locality. This was the focal point of discourse at a security summit held in Ishei, where speakers at the event called on Nigerians to desist from activities that could compromise national security. Ishei, an agrarian community located approximately 100 kilometers north of the Ibadan metropolis. The sleepy town had in the past few months topped the news due to recurring cases of abductions, collection of ransom and killings of suspected gunmen whose activities had raised a serious cause for concern.
That was the last reported case of kidnapping in Ishei, and unfortunately a life was lost, after which a sum of 10 million naira was said to have been paid. Before that incident, there were other cases of kidnapping, among which was this particular case of Alaji, the man they call Pugero, where the sum of 40 million naira was collected. He was manhandled and he later died after he was released.
With your leg, when the incident of the kidnapping along Ibako Road happened, when one of the staff ran to the station, I had to mobilize 2 of my officers. We used their private cars to that place to respond to that distress call. So supposing they had no car, and I don't have, the patrol jeep was not around. So what would have happened? Though before we got to that place, what had already happened. But the response is a warning signal that if they had delayed a bit, they wouldn't have found it easy.
People should minimize flaunting their ways of life on the social platform. It makes a lot of people vulnerable. It's like giving information to people that are chasing after you.
Security in our area, it's not a one-man's business. It's the general something. First and foremost, these kidnappers, majority of them, they are being sponsored by some people. From where do they get this, their sophisticated ammunition? Somebody is providing this for them. How can we solve this? Let us search our conscience so that we will know where these people are getting whatever they are using.
A group, Middle Belt Brain Trust and Nasarawa State Government are working to end frequent clashes between herders and farmers in the state by engaging administrators of formal and informal land tenure administration in the state. The MBBT coordinator, Bimka Thomas, said this during a stakeholders meeting in the land tenure system in Lafia, the state capital. He said that the rationale behind the meeting was to identify and map land administration landscape in Nasarawa State with available potential opportunities. Thomas explained that this would reduce the grievances and disputes over land ownership, particularly those held under informal tenure, by promoting the development of a land administration system that can act as a conflict prevention tool.
Great. My name is Bimba Thomas Jr. I'm the coordinator of the Middle Belt Brain Trust for the Institute of Integrated Transitions. Part of what we're doing in Nasarawa State right now, our work involves helping to resolve long-term and institutional challenges that have an impact on the long-term peace and stability of a state. So we especially work in countries that in transition to help build inclusive transitions. What we mean by that is we try to carry as much of the different stakeholder groups that are available in those conflict communities so that they plan not just for the short term but for the long term. So in Nasarawa State or in Nigeria right now, we're working with different states and communities trying to build social cohesion by working together to create locally driven, locally led social covenants. What do we mean by that? We provide the technical expertise and the networks, while the communities and the people and the government, who is also a key stakeholder, together would sit out and carve out solutions that work for the peace of their people.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to order arrest of the sponsors of attacks on the Independent National Electoral Commission officers. INEC officers in Osun and Ogun states have been attacked by gunmen and arsonists who destroy sensitive materials and documents. INEC buildings in other parts of the country have also been attacked. The situation has created fear, with many Nigerians wondering if the security threat can be addressed ahead of the 2023 general elections. At least 41 attacks in 14 states were recorded between February 2019 and May 2021. Recent reports also show over 50 attacks on INEC offices in several states in the last few months. SERAP Deputy Director Kolaolu Oluwadari, in a statement, wants President Buhari to urgently direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, and law enforcement agencies to identify and arrest the perpetrators and sponsors of attacks on the offices of independent national electoral officials across the country. The rights group urged the President to ensure that the perpetrators and their sponsors are named and shamed and promptly brought to justice, regardless of their political affiliations. SERAP warned the Buhari administration that it shall consider appropriate legal actions to compel the government to comply in the public interest. The contest for the Gombe North Senatorial District is becoming a subject of discussion as former two-term governor of the state, Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo, is set to challenge the incumbent Senator Saidu Ahmed Alkali. It could be recalled that Alkali of the APC defeated the former governor in the 2019 elections and clinched the Gombe North Senatorial seat. However, Governor Dankwambo is said to have strategized to contest in the 2023 general elections. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
It was a devastating political setback for the former governor of Gombe State, Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo, in the 2019 general election, as the two-term governor lost the Gombe North senatorial seat to Senator Saidu Ahmed Alkali of the APC. But with renewed vigor, Dankwambo is recontesting the Gombe North senatorial position in the 2023 elections, a decision that triggered political debate over his chances against the incumbent Senator Saidu Ahmed Alkali.
Of course, you cannot override him, although there are many odds against him. Number one, he was the incumbent sitting governor in 2019 when he lost to the same Senator Saidu Ahmed Alkali. This should not be forgotten easily and quickly. Now that he is no longer a sitting governor, and the same person that defeated him is still there in the seat, that means there is a kind of a culture, a tradition that may easily repeat itself. We should not forget that. This is one. Secondly, being one of the major PDP stalwarts nationwide, one cannot overwrite him. And also for the fact that the APC in general as a ruling party is perceived to have performed woefully, poorly.
According to Kashere, although Saidu Alkali may have his shortcomings, he is however not short of the needed potential to make progress in the election. Residents in Gombe Northern Senatorial District are divided on the chances of former Governor Ibrahim Hassan Dankombo and Senator Saidu Alkali in the 2023 elections.
Alkali would beat Dankombo.
Why?
Hands down.
Why?
Because if you look at Dankombo, he's a former governor. When he lost the election in 2019, he just left the state about more than 3 years before he came back to the state.
I have strongly believe that Dankombo will win the election over Said Dan Alkali, inshallah, in the next general 2023 election, inshallah.
There are 11 candidates from various political parties contesting for the Gombe North senatorial seat. However, the most notable contestants are the candidates of the APC, who is the incumbent Senator Saidu Ahmed Alkali, former Governor Ibrahim Dankombo of the PDP, and Muhammad Sabiu, candidate of the NNPP, followed by the candidate of the Labour Party, Adamu Ibrahim Usman. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail, reporting for Trust TV.
Presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party NNPP Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso says there might not be a clear winner for the 2023 presidential contest in the first ballot. Kwankwaso, who said this while featuring on Trust TV's 30 Minutes program, says the new Nigeria People's Party is the party to beat as the dominant political parties have reached their peak and could not offer Nigerians something new.
What I'm telling you now is that now nobody is sure whether anybody will be outright winner. That's the issue now. But what I'm telling you,
but as a practical politician, do you believe that?
Yeah, I don't mind people talking about, because we are the party of the 2023, because we are the only ones growing. Every day we receive people at all levels, including at national level. Even now we had to delay you because we had important people coming from Zamfara State and some other states in the south. So, you see, we are the party to beat. There's no question about it now. You know, people going to do fake and rigged opinion poll to suit them. Absolute rubbish.
Well, there you go. You can catch up with the full interview on Monday by 7:30 p.m. on Trust TV. Moving on, as the Christmas celebrations draw nearer, prices of foodstuff and other commodities have continued to soar in the Kaduna market, with buyers lamenting the hike in price. While sellers of goat, chicken, turkey, as well as textile and garment grown due to low turnout of buyers, foodstuff sellers are recording high sales despite persistent increase in prices of the commodities. Bello Musa has the details of this report.
Shopping for the Christmas is always a delight for the shoppers as they count down to the end of the year. However, the excitement that always greets the season shopping experience is absent this year for many due to economic situation in the country. Aminu Kubarachi, a shop owner who sells textile materials at Shegubi Market in Kaduna, says despite the approaching Christmas, patronage has remained low. The patronage of customers is low, unlike the previous years, when we used to start recording high sales in the month of October. Although the increase in the price of some commodities have been blamed for low patronage, other items such as goat that have remained relatively stable at Cow Market, unlike chicken and turkey, has nevertheless failed to attract patronage. The patronage of buyers is very poor. The price of goods starts from 15,000 naira upward.
Zuwa sama.
Gaskiya kamar dai abu na gaskiya kaza ta rade bata tsadan.
Chicken and turkey are very costly this year due to high cost of feeds. The price of chicken starts from 2,500 to 6,000 and the turkey is within 6,000 to 7,000 and 8,000 naira respectively. Hosea John is here for shopping, but according to him, the price of commodities in the market is scary.
It's quite obvious the prices of goods are very high and you see no money in town, so the preparation is actually less because what do you pick without money?
I have a family and children. You see, all this is people used to suffering in the market, in the house, no food to eat.
But for foodstuff sellers, the story is different because despite the persistent increase in the price of items like bags of rice and cooking oil, they still record high sales.
Every day there is increase in prices of goods in Kaduna, mainly food items. Every day there is an increase in price and there is high demand of the commodities because of the festive period. As you can see, we are approaching the month of December, that's for Christmas. So many people are coming to market to purchase goods. High sale, there is high demand of goods. People doesn't have money, but they want goods, but still they buy.
While Maharazu cited insecurity and dollar exchange rate as responsible for the hike in the price of goods, he says the price may likely increase in December unless something is done by the government. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
You're watching news updates on Trust Television. Coming up, reading culture as one of the factors for economic growth. Details of this after the break. Do stay. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update. Our top stories. 7-year-old injured as explosive rocks Yobe. Serap urges President Buhari to arrest sponsors of attacks on INEC officers or face legal action. Moving on, irrigation farmers in Katsina State are lamenting high cost of inputs forcing them to produce below capacity. Many irrigation farmers resort to applying local manure as the price of fertilizer has gone beyond their reach. Abdullah Yamadi meets irrigation farmers in Katsina, Ajwa and Makera irrigation sites where few farmers are actively participating in this year's farming activities, largely due to high cost of inputs. His report.
Prices of fertilizers, pesticides and seeds are going beyond the purchasing power of these peasant farmers who have now reverted to traditional methods of farming. These farmers said they cannot afford farm implements such as sprayers and water pumping machines at prevailing market prices.
Taki maganin heshi da iruruwa.
The situation of farming is pathetic. As a peasant farmer, I cannot afford one bag of fertilizer. I have to resort to manure. And the president is saying we should go back to farm. I can't comprehend this. We have never received any support or subsidy, and government said everybody should go back to farm. Before this administration, we used to buy water pumping machine at 17 to 18,000 naira, but now it is sold between 65 to 70,000 naira. Most of us cannot afford it. What we do is for 3 to 4 people contribute money and buy one. However, the state government said it is making everything possible to make irrigation farming in Katsina State the most cheapest in Nigeria. The general manager, Katsina State Farmers Supply Company, Fascot, Abdu Abu Kofarsoro, said arrangements have been concluded to commence distribution of farm inputs and implements to irrigation farmers.
So now the leftover we have, we are going to include it in this year's dry season. So now the water pumps we are having now and the sprayers, we are going to augment them with that chemicals left over to distribute to the irrigation farmers for this year, inshallah.
If these assurances are realizable, farmers' confidence will be restored that the huge loss they suffered from flooding during the last rainy season will be compensated at least during this dry season farming. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Now, lack of reading culture is one of the factors hindering economic growth and development in the country. Stakeholders at Reading Promotion Campaign in Kaduna believe that providing reading culture can help overcome some of Nigeria's challenges and accelerate development for the nation. The experts in education said this at an annual readership promotion campaign of the National Library in Kaduna. The report.
The Reading Promotion Campaign is an annual event organized by the National Library in Kaduna. The campaign is designed to awaken reading consciousness among Nigerians by way of promoting availability and use of good reading materials by all and sundry. The campaign also seeks solutions to the poor reading culture in Nigeria. In an effort to find solutions to poor reading culture for national development, stakeholders cited poor learning facilities and absence of library in schools as factors responsible.
There is a serious neglect on the government and the parents on the reading culture in the whole country. So if you go to school, like primary and secondary school, there is no library. The libraries are not there. And when you go to tertiary institutions, even tertiary, they don't have a good libraries. So virtually, we give them the opportunity. It is our failure to equip our libraries. I would say perhaps that caused all this major movement, major preference to social media.
Participants say some of the challenges confronting the nation, like banditry, terrorism, among others, can be addressed through reawakening the culture of reading.
Reading culture, if you agree with me, is the only means by which we will eradicate illiteracy, we will eradicate timidity, we will eradicate non-socialization, and we will rather inculcate the drive.
The messages, the paper presentations and all, and the responses and the activities exhibited by the learners is actually a very good step in the right direction.
We are now having school children, as you can see them seated, having keynote speaker, having academic paper presentation, all just was encouraging our children and the youth seated, even the parents. We are trying to encourage everybody. It is important that we should imbibe the culture of reading.
A hunter has set a trap. He was trapped in the hunter's net. Objecting, I will love to the dry of an ocean. But do we have time?
Experts believe that enhanced reading culture is a prerequisite for acquisition of knowledge and skills needed by the people in a rapidly exchanging world, serving as the catalyst for participation in social, cultural, political and economic activities of the nation. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now on the foreign scene, Charles III is to take part in his first Remembrance Sunday event as king, laying a wreath in tribute to UK and Commonwealth war dead as Britain's new Prime Minister also loads Ukraine's defenders. The 73-year-old monarch had previously deputized for his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, who died in September aged 96 after a year of failing health. Since 2017, she had watched the annual service from a balcony of the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office overlooking the cenotaph. Last year, a back complaint forced her to miss the ceremony in central London just weeks after an unscheduled overnight stay in hospital. Charles, who served in the Royal Navy in the 1970s, laid a wreath on her behalf. Now King and Commander-in-Chief of British Forces, he would lay his first wreath at the War Memorial as reigning monarch. The ring of red artificial poppies, Britain's symbol of remembrance, is mounted on black leaves with a ribbon in the King's scarlet, purple and gold horse racing colours. Buckingham Palace said a similar wreath would be laid on behalf of his wife, Queen Consort Camilla, for the first time. The Egyptian Health Ministry has confirmed that at least 20 people were killed and 6 injured when a minibus fell into a canal in North Egypt's Nile Delta region. It was gathered that the bus was carrying some 35 people who went in derailed on a highway and fell into Masura Canal in Aga town in the northern governorate of Dakalia. Egyptian media outlets reported the accident was caused by a malfunctioning steering wheel. Without elaborating, traffic accidents are common in Egypt, with roads that are poorly maintained and driving rules flouted, attributed as the major causes. And in sports, Bielsa Queens salvaged something from a seemingly disappointing CAF Women's Champions League by finishing with a 1-0 win over Simba Queens in the third-place match. In the match played at the Stadium Molly Hassan in Rabat. A second-half strike from Juliet Sunday was all the Yenagoa-based side required to beat their East African opponents. Bielsa Queens had a brighter start to the match as Glory Edit's long-range effort and Etim Edidiong's header inside the opening 10 minutes missed their target. Meanwhile, goalkeeper Bao Gabriel won her second Women of the Match accolade in the tournament. And that's it on news updates. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thank you for watching.